Hello and welcome. In this video, I want to talk about growth as an artist. How do you know when you're improving? A lot of times it can feel like you're not making any progress, doing the same things, making the same brushstrokes, having the same results. When you finally finish a painting or a sketch in your sketchbook and you look at it and it doesn't look like it's any better or any worse than anything you've done up until that point. And it can be really discouraging. So let me take you through how I noticed that I was improving, and hopefully that will help you realize how much you're improving. And for those of you who are just here to watch me paint, I have 5 canvas paintings that I'll be painting in this video. So strap your eyeballs in and enjoy. Now, I need to start off with a little bit of context because what you're watching actually was filmed 4 months ago. In fact, this whole video, for the most part, all the way until the last portion of it, which I'll cue you in whenever that part happens, but the whole video was filmed 4 months ago. And I haven't been able to finish it because at the time I hadn't finished the little triangle paintings, and in order to make the full video, I needed those paintings to be completed. So this week, I finally sat down and finished those paintings, and immediately I started to get a strange kind of feeling about my work in general. Because while I was excited that they were done and completed, I just wasn't really thrilled with the results. I feel like they look pretty standard, which isn't a bad thing, but when you're a beginner and you're learning how to paint and become a better artist, you almost expect each painting to have a better and better outcome. And I don't feel like these paintings look any better than any other painting that I've done. In fact, it reminds me of some of my very first paintings that I did, which as an artist can really mess with your head a little bit, because just making that connection in my mind brought up the even bigger question, which is, have I improved at all? But at the end of the day, I had a video to get out, so I sat down to try to start editing, and my original concept for this video, I had so many drawings in my messy sketchbook, which I just did a sketchbook tour of, and if you watch that video, you could definitely see it's really just a big book full of ideas that I had at the time, and it's like I just kept cataloging them and making them into lists because it takes time to paint. It's like I couldn't paint them all fast enough. And eventually it kind of got me in a little bit of an art block situation, which is weird because usually you get art block because you're uninspired or you don't have any ideas of what you want to paint. But it's like I had the opposite. I had so many ideas, I couldn't decide what to do first. And I knew because each one was going to take a bit of time to complete, it's like I knew I wasn't going to get to all of them. And it was creating like a lot of pressure for starting that next project. So eventually I decided, hey, I'll just make a video about me not being able to decide which one to do, and I'll just start all of them, or I'll start as many as I can and see where it goes. Doing that worked really well. It got me in a momentum. I was moving forward. I was creating things, and I just kept going from there. And along the way, I ended up leaving my triangle paintings behind. I had painted the sky on all 4 paintings, and that's as far as I had gotten. I put them up on my wall to dry, and I never really went back to them until 4 months later when I decided I needed to finish them finally. Now I'm at the point where I'm editing the video for them. I no longer have that indecisive art block that I had when I started them, and instead I have this nagging voice in my head telling me that all this work I've been doing hasn't amounted to anything because I'm still painting something that I could hold up next to my very first painting and you wouldn't be able to tell which one I painted then and which one I painted now. And it really messed with me for a couple of days, which might not seem like a very long time, but trust me, it is. It's a long time to have doubt just cycling in your brain. And it's because I kept thinking about the wrong answer to the question. Have I improved? How do I know if I've improved? And it's really hard for artists to recognize that because you're the one doing it every day or every week or how often you do it. If you really go back and think about it, think about how many things you had to learn to get to where you are now. When I first started, I didn't know hardly anything about color theory or how to mix colors, what gesso was, how to keep my paint from drying out, how to properly wash brushes, how to blend two colors together with acrylic paint. I mean, I could literally sit here forever going through all of the little things that have added up over these past years during my art journey that have gotten me to here. And so I realized that I was just looking at it all the wrong way. I was looking at the final result and expecting the final result to somehow look different each time, to look better and better each time. And while you can see improvements like that, you're not going to see it every time. And so the real question that you have to ask yourself is, how different does it feel when you're painting? Don't think about the end product and think about what you have just done to get to the end product. And once I really started thinking about it, it used to take me hours and hours to paint. These triangle paintings are pretty small paintings, and I finished all 4 of them in a very short amount of time. If I was trying to do that back when I first started, it would have taken me days to finish. It might have taken days just to finish one. So sometimes making progress on your art journey doesn't always have to do with how something looks. Even though that's what we all think of, that's what we're all striving for. We want everything to look better, but you really have to stop and think about everything else that you have to do in the process. When I was finishing these triangle paintings, I don't even remember thinking about color mixing. I didn't remember thinking about what color is gonna look good with that color, or how to paint a tree, or how to get water to look like it's slowly fading off into the distance, which layer I should start with. I really didn't think about any of those things. I just did it. It was like second nature. I had grown my skills as an artist to where those things were not complicated anymore. They were very, very simple. So if you ever get trapped in that terrible question of, am I improving as an artist? You just gotta step beyond thinking about the final product and what it looks like compared to your other work. Instead, ask yourself how much easier it's become, how many mistakes you've learned from, and at least for me, the more I've painted, the easier it gets. And there's always going to be new challenges. I'm always trying new things. And of course, that's going to be difficult. Even if you're painting a new subject matter that you've never painted before, that in itself can be more challenging. But all the things that you learn along the way are going to make that new experience even easier. And it's really easy to lose sight of that. So I hope this helps. If anyone's having a hard time in their art journey and they feel like they've just hit a roadblock and they're not getting any better, it's a terrible feeling to have, but as you can see, it does happen. And I just hope this helps you take a step back and really think about everything as a whole, and not to beat yourself up. Keep going and keep learning and keep getting better. And one day you will look back and see how far you've come. And you can only get there if you keep going and keep painting and keep pushing the boundaries and learning new things. Because all those things are going to add up and they're going to make all the difference later. I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint. If you've watched this far, please remember to leave me a like and consider subscribing. It'll just kind of bookmark my channel for you in case you want to watch any of my other videos. If you're curious about my art journey and where I started from, I definitely invite you to go back and watch some of my older videos. And I'll see y'all next time.